Hello everybody, my name is Michael, and today we're going to take on Untitled and Smough. I am here alive, and I'm going to summon the Knight Solaire who can help us out with this fight. The battle against Untitled and Smough is the most difficult in the game, and one of the most difficult in the Souls series. Mainly because you have to fight two people at a time, which is automatically really difficult, and both of them are very, very tough. And after you kill one of them, the other recharges in a kind of super mode. And when you do that, the fight becomes incredibly, incredibly dangerous. This may take many, many attempts. I don't know how many it's going to take, but it's going to take however many it does. Let's go in here. Smough the Executioner is the fat one, while the other one is, the one that just shot a lightning bolt at me, is Ornstein. I'm going to try to take out Smough first, but that's the more difficult way to go about this, so I don't know how well that's going to work out. The reason that we really want Solaire in here with us is to be a good distraction, so that we can hopefully only fight one at a time, but as you can see, that really doesn't work very well. And sometimes you can end up fighting both of them. Again, if you're trying to do this the easy way, try to kill Ornstein now. Because Smough... Oops. I knew that was going to go wrong as soon as I hit the second strike. Because Smough is definitely... Fuck. Really mistimed that. The Smough is the easier one in the second time. Ooh, I think we beat him. Defeating this early stage is fairly simple because of how helpful Solaire is. But at this point in the game, things become very, very, very tricky. Because Super Ornstein is an extremely tough opponent. He has an Impale attack, which does a huge amount of damage. Even if I'm at full health, I don't know, that might be able to, to one-shot me. Overflasked there. Good thing he's focusing on Solaire, but Solaire's going to be dead pretty soon. You'll notice that lightning thing can sort of move. It can kind of travel a little bit. Oops. Okay, uh-oh. That's the most dangerous attack aside from that Impale thing. Oh, fuck. No idea that was going to hit me. I think that was the Impale. I'm not sure. Fire damage does a fair bit of damage to these guys. Lightning, less so. Oh, shit. You see, I had no idea he was going for that. Well, I'll cut back here. Hello there. I am back again, and I'm going to do this in post-commentary, this one, because this just turned out to be too difficult for me to talk and do this boss fight. It's the most difficult in the game, and I'm trying to do it the hard way by killing Ornstein last, and I just couldn't keep up. And so that's why there was that end there where I just wasn't talking. Now I'm going to pop in here. I'm using charcoal pine resin because I heard that this really helped against Smough and Ornstein, but later on it doesn't seem to work very well against Super Ornstein at the very least, and I also failed spectacularly to hit Ornstein with that great combustion. It got very difficult to even just to hit him. I had to get too close. Whereas with Smough, he has this huge fat gut sticking out, and it's much easier to hit him with great combustion. And you can get a lot of damage on a great combustion hitting him. Smough here, he is big, he is heavy, obviously. He has a gigantic hammer. He does these sweeping attacks. A lot of the time you will have to, with Ornstein and Smough, roll into them. That's what you have to learn, and you just have to learn it by practice. I've done this so many times that I'm fairly good at it, but you just have to learn exactly how to roll into the guy. You saw just there that there was a big splash of blood that came out of Smough. He is susceptible to bleed damage, as all of the big fat enemies in the game, like the big fat demons, are. And the reason why I'm not killing Smough second, even though he's easier, is because you don't get much of a reward for doing that. You can buy his armor from Hall of Xena, but it's crummy and obviously looks idiotic. You can make his weapon with his soul, but the weapon is shit. It's that titanic hammer, and you literally need, like, I think 60 or 70 strength. I think 60 strength to one-hand that weapon. It's completely insane. Both of these guys have a butt smash attack where they jump and land on their backside and spray electricity out at you, and that's very, very dangerous. That's why I'm trying to be cautious. I realized at some point in this fight with Ornstein that he is simply that rolling into him is much more difficult, and I can't really play more defensively like I could with Smough, because he's going to charge at you with his hammer, but Ornstein, he's not going to do that as much. His charging attacks are that impale attack, and they're very dangerous. And unlike Smough, he has that ranged attack where he can shoot electricity at you. Smough doesn't have that. So, all in all, it's just much more dangerous. Like, I barely managed, just by luck, to roll under that. I didn't even think that was going to be the lightning blast, but it turned out to be. I got very, very lucky there. Ornstein was one of Gwyn's 4 knights, along with Artorias, Hawkeye, Goth, Kieran, I think. But not Smough. Smough was not one of the knights of Lord Gwyn, because, well, he was evil and a big fat cannibal. That's why. And one of the rewards you get for defeating Ornstein, his spear is actually a pretty darn good weapon. You can get this spear, but you have to have dex and faith in order to use it, which is kind of an unusual combination. Typically, when I do a faith character, I do the traditional D&D way of having him wear fairly heavy armor and wield like a mace or a morning star, which is more strength-based. But if you have dex and faith, that spear is actually pretty darn good. That surprised me there, because that spear hit did exclusively physical damage. I took no health damage just from the spear thrust. And I think that the spear is part physical, part magic when we actually get it. But anyway, you'll probably have noticed these pillars in the room. And the enemies have been busily destroying the pillars with their attacks. I rolled into the lightning there stupidly. You have to learn how to use these pillars in order to control their movement and block their attacks. The base of the pillars never goes away, thankfully. So you can always use the base of those pillars there in order to block both Ornstein and Smough. And I think I'm just about winding up with the fight here, just a bit. Again, I have to roll into him. You have to be aggressive fighting Ornstein. And Ornstein's armor is actually far better than Smough's armor. So I really prefer that. And you also get an interesting item called the Leo Ring in this, which I talk about, I think, later on in the episode, when I go back to live commentary. And Ornstein is not susceptible to bleed, unfortunately, which makes this considerably tougher. I keep forgetting there that he can do a follow-up to that thrust attack. I think that, oddly enough, that slash attack is the easiest one to avoid. If I went in here with some better pyromancy, or just decided to farm souls and upgrade my pyromancy flame to plus 15, or +5, I would be or plus 15 or +20. I would be doing an amazing amount of damage against this guy. The fight is incredible. It's really, really fun. It took me literally dozens of times to beat this fight. Dozens of times when I first went in here. Just figuring it out. Don't get discouraged during this fight. If you're having trouble with it, you just have to practice on it. It's really annoying that you have to kill those sentinels again and again and again. Because in the room over here, there are 2 sentinels and a couple of silver knights along the way to this fight. But it's not that challenging. You just have to do it over and over and learn the roles. That's pretty much how you do it. And I'm just going to cut back, I think, the live commentary in just a second.
Thou hast journeyed far, and overcome much, chosen undead. Come hither, child. O chosen undead, I am Guinevere, daughter of Lord Gwyn and Queen of Sunlight. Since the day Father his form did obscureth, I have awaited thee. I bequeath the Lord vessel to thee. And beseech thee, succeed Lord Gwyn, and inheriteth the fire of our world. Thou shalt endeth this eternal twilight, and avert further undead sacrifices. O chosen undead, thou hast since the day once living, now undead, and a fitting heir to Father Gwyn thou art. O chosen undead, and beseech thee, a grave and arduous test of yea, it shall be. Indeed, we had felt the warmth of fire, its radiance and the life it sustaineth. Without fire, all shall be a frigid and frightful dark. Please, Father's role thou should assume, and inheriteth the fire of our world. Thou shalt endeth this eternal twilight, and avert further undead sacrifices. Kingseeker Frout, the primordial serpent, shall guideth thee. Please, Father, thou shalt end Kingseeker. Now thou shalt go forth, chosen undead. May thou be one with the sunlight forevermore.
Okay, so we have just saved the day by defeating Ornstein and Smough and discovered, oh dear sweet lord, look at that. Yeah, you know you like that. This is Guinevere, one of the remaining gods in Inner Orlando. Or is she? Well, we're going to find that out later on. And what she has told us by giving us the Lord Vessel, which I think is here, Soul Vessel granted to the chosen undead. Lord Vessel bestowed upon the chosen undead who is destined to succeed Lord Gwyn. The chosen undead is granted the art of warping between bonfires. To open the final door, place this vessel on the firelink altar and fill it with powerful souls. So what she's saying is yet again to succeed Lord Gwyn. And I think they're making it woolly enough at this point that they're making it seem like we could become the king of the gods, cast away any threat of the dark encroaching, and restart an age of fire or an age of the gods on our own, where we're the king. But as I think I already mentioned, that ain't exactly what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that we are going to be made to kill ourselves, to immolate ourselves in this fire, and, keep the flames of this age burning just a little bit longer. Which is kind of bullshit. I mean, we don't really want that to happen. We don't want to die exactly. I mean, we are undead, so maybe death is what we're striving for. But who knows? And when she tells us to trust Kingseeker Frant, no. You do not want to do that. Just look at her. She really is a goddess. And you can see her belly there, which is kind of nice. And I like how she's sort of draped across here, and she's gigantic. You know, she's like a goddess would look. We're going to have a little bit more to do with her later, but we don't have much to do now. You may have noticed it said Enter Covenant when we talk to her here. This covenant is mostly useless. I think it just gives you a few miracles that help you heal people in PvP, or PvE, wait, hold on. When you cooperate with other players. And if you head back here, and they're not very good, so don't even bother. Just head back here, and if you did what we did by killing Knight Lautrec in here by invading him, rather than killing him back in Firelink Shrine, you will find his armor here. I don't really like the armor. It's golden, and it looks like the armor that Mordred, King Arthur's son, wore in the Excalibur movie. And I love that movie, but I hate that character, obviously, because he's evil. I don't want to be him. I should also note that something that they said, which is a huge surprise and a huge relief when you get the Lord Vessel, is that now you may teleport between different bonfires. Tragically, you can't warp to every single bonfire, which is stupid, because why the hell wouldn't you be able to do that? Only certain ones. But they are important ones. Although there are a few important ones that you can't, like you can't warp to the Undead Asylum, which is bullcrap, because you have to do that jump every time to get in there. But still, you can warp to quite a few places, and it's a lot more than this. These are just the ones that we've been to, and you have to have gone to the fireplace and lit it in order to be able to warp to it. So I think we are going to go back to Firelink Shrine and do what she said and talk to Kingseeker Frampt. Now, in order, she mentioned before the final door. Well, what did she mean by that? Well, in order to unlock the final door to Lord Gwyn and beat the game, the final boss, and succeed him as the Lord of this land. Oh, look, the Crestfallen Warrior is gone. And to succeed him as the Lord of this land, we need to talk to Kingseeker Frampt here, and we'll explain more a little bit later.
Heavens! You have done it! You have retrieved the Lord Vessel. After 1,000 years, it is you. It is really you. Forgive me. I really should calm down. Now, let us take that vessel on a journey. I assume that you are ready. Now, be still. Very well. Very well. As Kingseeker, I shall now instruct you, the Lord's successor, in your next task. To achieve your fate, fill the vessel with powerful souls, commensurate to the great soul of Gwyn. Scarce few possess such brilliant souls. Grave Lord Nito, the Witch of Izalith, the 4 kings of New Londo, who inherited the shards of Gwyn's soul, and Lord Gwyn's former confidant, Seath the Scaleless. All of their souls are required to satiate the Lord Vessel. Are you ready? Then we shall return. Stay still for a moment. I am pleased to... The beings who possess these souls have outlived their usefulness, or have chosen the path of the wicked. As the primordial serpent, I implore you to defeat them and claim their souls. Let there be no guilt. Let there be no vacillation. The beings who...
So there we go. We found out the final portion, the final third of the game. What exactly does it mean? Well, what he's saying is that in order to succeed Lord Gwyn and continue the Age of Fire, we now need to use the 4 greatest and most powerful souls of this age, the 4 lords that were that he just mentioned, in order to open up that chamber and defeat Lord Gwyn, because only a soul of truly magnificent power is able to succeed Lord Gwyn and keep the flames of this world going. Consider that sort of like a test to make sure that you have enough fuel in your soul to fire the first flame and keep it going for a long time. A tiny soul wouldn't keep it going very much at all. But a huge soul, someone who can do magnificent things, they would be able to have an enormous impact on this world and keep the flames going for a long, long time. So that's why we need to gather those 4 souls, and then we can go and fight Lord Gwyn, and that's essentially the end of the game. Now let us quickly go see if these guys have anything new to say. I guess not. I think we have to wait. You see, now that we have gotten the Lord Vessel, this guy here will go to his next area. He will leave Firelink Shrine and go to Seath the Scaleless's house, the Duke's Archives. And so I believe maybe we have to warp to another area and come back and he'll be gone. I'm not too sure about that. So I think that's pretty much it for this episode, I think. In the next one, we're probably not going to be pursuing one of those 4 souls so much as we're going to be pursuing getting a plus 15 weapon. And in order to do that, we need to go down into the ruins of New Londo. But I'll just give you my final thoughts on the O and Smough fight. I really, really like that fight. It is one of the most fun and interesting fights in the series. It can be very challenging, because I didn't really show this part because I thought it would just be long and tedious. But to get up to that point, you have to defeat a number of enemies. 3 Silver Knights and 2 Sentinels. So if you're doing this fight over and over and over again dozens of times, it can become infuriating to have to go and kill these guys. And I kind of wish for the Dark Souls 2 days of, being able to defeat an enemy 10 times and have them go away. I know that's kind of blasphemy to be wishing for that, but, there you go. I really, really tend not to fight Ornstein as the last one. I tend not to do that because of how difficult Ornstein is. He was really, really throwing me off. I had a lot of trouble fighting this guy. I mean, really, I was hit very hard by him. I really wasn't looking... I didn't expect it to be that much different from Smough. I've only defeated Super Ornstein a few times. Usually I just do Smough, because you do get a special item for defeating Ornstein that you do not get for Smough, which is this one, the Leo Ring. One of the special rings granted to the 4 knights of Gwyn. The Leo Ring belonged to Ornstein, the Dragon Slayer. This ring strengthens counters with pierce attacks, has lugged spears into a sliced a boulder in two. Well, it nearly sliced me in two, so I believe it. And what the Leo Ring does is that it boosts the damage that you would get on a counter strike for a piercing weapon. So let's take a Ricard's Rapier here and look at some damage and see what it does, if anything. Let's see if we can get this. So I got 234 there, and I'm going to make sure it's I'm going to go rest and make sure it's the exact same enemy to kind of test it there. I'm using a thrusting weapon here. There we go. Thrusting weapons are rapiers, one of the attacks of the S-Talk, spears. Most spears would do that. And let's take a look at it again with the Leo Ring on to see if it does anything cool. Come on. It didn't go up in damage. I must not be using the Leo Ring quite right. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's like, no, you gotta do it this way. You're not supposed to do it that way, you moron. But anyway, that's the theory behind it. The counter damage, which I think I mentioned this at some point. I don't know if I went too deeply into it, but what counter damage is, essentially, is if you hit an enemy in a vulnerable moment, such as in the middle of a strike, or I think directly from the back is also considered a vulnerable point. I'm not sure about that. Without doing a backstab, but you're still hitting them in the back. That's still considered a counter-strike, I think, according to the wiki it is. But you get extra damage, or if they bounce off your shield and are staggered a bit, you will have noticed that they get a little bit of extra damage rather than if you just strike them without that. And I think the Leo Ring is supposed to boost that. But now we are going to try to jump over there and talk to Domhnall of Xena and see what he has to say, if anything, in his stupid little accent. And we made it, thank God. Let's see here. Then we got our Ring of Sacrifice, which is kind of useless.
Aye, Shemai. I didn't expect to meet anybody here. I suppose great minds think alike, eh? I'm afraid
You dick. He's still not doing anything. Alright, now you can buy the Master Key from him when he moves over here. Same stuff as before, but you can also buy the boss items from some of the bosses we've defeated. So now we can actually get Ornstein's stuff. I don't know if it's all that useful, really. I don't really plan on using it, but I'll get it anyway. Or I'll probably farm some souls and get the rest of it later.
Thank you. That was a fine trade. I have this funny feeling we'll meet again soon. And we'll make another fine trade, of course.
And unbelievably, there is actually a real-world helmet that looks just like that this is based on. But anyway, we're going to go through the new Londo ruins in the next episode and show you how you get the very large ember. I will see you then. We won!